Mallory and Daryl were having a really hard time. Daryl had to have emergency open heart surgery, and so he had to be out of work for a good long time. So Mallory, his wife, took on 2 jobs. So she is working and working and working. And they eventually got released from their lease. I don't think it was necessarily an eviction, but they sort of came together with a landlord to say, we need to not pay this bill anymore. They ended up moving into a hotel for a while. So all 4 of their family members. It was the couple and, of course, their 2 sons. So they lived in this hotel for a couple weeks. Finally, Daryl was released from the hospital. He got to go back to work. Mallory continued to work as a teacher and then this side hustle that she had. And they were putting an application so that they could move out of the hotel and into a home. They finally got an application to be accepted. They picked their boys up from school, and they're around 7 and like 12 years old. Picked them up from school. They didn't know they were going to a home. They drove them to that house, got out of the car, and the youngest just broke into tears. Mom and Dad said, this is your forever home. We're going to stay here. This is our home. You have your own room. This kid lost it. I mean, he just sort of was like, Mommy, like we have a home. And he just broke up. The older brother, so sweet, went over and comforted him. Even though he wasn't sad, he just went over and started hugging on him. And he was like, yeah, this is our home, buddy. And it's just this reaction is going viral for the way the younger son reacted.
No more hotel. No more being homeless. And they got a place to live.
Had a place to put their stuff and a place to lay their head.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
So Scott has a daughter. She graduates next year. But according to Scott's father-in-law, it's now. He thinks she's graduating now.
Apparently so. All I heard was my wife was on the phone last night, and all I heard was, what? When? No. So he wrote her a letter congratulating her on the graduation.
That's
and
sweet.
Put money in the envelope and mailed it.
Like cash?
A year early.
A year early. Well, how much? And what did the letter say?
Well, he put $100 cash in the envelope. And the letter we're still waiting, but it was just kind of a, congratulations and whatnot. It was
What do you mean
secret.
you're still waiting?
Right.
What's that mean?
The problem is he mailed it to the house that we used to live in.
Scott,
3 years ago.
Oh, no. You haven't lived there in how long, 3 years?
3 years. And we're like, hang on a second. She graduates next year, and you know that we moved. What? Why? He just got confused,
How often does he come visit?
Not a whole lot, but we're going to make sure that he knows where we live.
So what about now? Okay, so someone's got $100 of cash now.
Well, here's what we did. We contacted our realtor who knows, the other person's realtor that bought our house, and we're hoping that they can connect and look for the envelope and get it to us.
I certainly hope so. So what did your father-in-law, Scott, say?
Well, my wife said, he felt bad about it, but he just said, I wanted to send her a letter to let her know how proud I was of her.
That's nice.
And I guess he was trying to make a big impact with the cash. She opens the envelope and here's the money, but get it to the right house.
So, Scott, if you could for me, and I'll give you my address, but let your father-in-law know I just graduated.
Me too.
Would you?
Hey. Yeah, look for some cash in the mail, apparently.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
You probably remember back in the day when there was the Carolina Reaper. The Carolina Reaper. Yeah, that big old pepper that the chip, right?
Well, there was a ghost pepper chip, but I think it's an actual ghost pepper.
Okay.
I think. I never tried the thing because I saw people that were getting, physically ill just taking a little bite of that little chip, and Mama wasn't doing it.
It's got like a Scottsville heat unit level.
Yeah, is it Scoville or because I don't know.
Oh, I don't know how to pronounce it.
But that's the thing, I don't either.
Scott will know. Scott,
what you think?
Scoville.
Thank you.
And it means nothing to me to hear that Scoville unit or whatever. But when they liken it to 300 jalapenos, then I kind of understand.
Well, the company that made that Carolina Reaper thing is coming out with a new one. That's 3 times more hotter than that thing.
Why? Like, I don't get it. I don't like hot things anyway. I don't like really spicy food or even barely spicy food. But when it's so hot that your tongue is on fire, is there a taste or is it just fire?
I don't know. Scott knows the name of it. What's the name of this thing?
I'm afraid to say it. It's got like a pucker something.
Oh, that's the name of the company.
No,
No, that's the name of the pepper.
no,
It's called Pepper X.
Pepper X is the name of the pepper.
Oh.
The company is called Pucker Butt Pepper.
Oh, gotcha.
Pucker
Okay.
Butt Pepper. Because that's what it does to you.
Scott's like, I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
Really afraid, but it's Pepper X.
Pepper
or Pepper
X.
10, something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, maybe it is Pepper 10 because maybe it's 10 times more. I don't even know.
No.
Warning, your mouth will explode.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
It's Rob and Liz in the morning, his radio. This whole Bachelorette thing on ABC. Not a fan. I don't watch it. Now they're doing... Okay, how many? They're doing Golden, which means the senior years. The Golden Bachelor, is that
Oh,
it?
yes, I love this so much.
Why?
Because I want my mama on this show.
You want your mom?
So she got picked up at a mall food court.
Somebody
a couple of
came
years
up
ago.
to her?
Little
Really?
guy with a walker, and he just sort of, shuffled over there.
Scooted over,
and
okay.
he was like, may I sit down? And she was like, of course. And so they had a nice little conversation, and then she called me when she left the mall, and she was like, I have a date. And I was like, you do what now? My dad passed away like 17 years ago.
Okay.
So, she should get back out there. I'm totally down with that. And they went on their little date, and he wanted to like cuddle with her on in the booth of the restaurant. He wanted to sit next to her and kind of hold her hand, and she was not down with that. She was like, "No, sir.
So
This is the first day. No, sir."
she dropped the guy?
Yes. She basically,
Really?
yeah.
She has
basically-
some standards.
Oh, absolutely.
I respect that.
Yeah, she was like, honey,
Not on the first date.
no. Smack his hand,
For real?
I think she's sort of like, nope.
Wow.
So, yeah, Mama's got some standards, but I
Good
want
for
Mama
her.
to be on this show, Golden Bachelor.
Well, if she's got standards, she'll be able to stand her ground.
She will be, you know
Because,
what?
hey, I saw one of those episodes once and wait, what? That's not the real dating world. Come on.
It's really not. When it first started, I will say I used to watch it when it first started, and then it just went, whoa, my goodness, this is 8 o'clock at night? Oh, my goodness.
I know.
Clutching my pearls, got the vapors.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
So he rolls out of bed, he gets dressed, he brushes his teeth. He has this routine that he has to do every single day. One thing that he does is he reads for about 20 minutes. And he enjoys not coffee, but he likes lemon honey tea. Ian is 6 years old.
He has this kind of routine?
He has this quiet time, so he sits there with a bowl of cereal. He has his little mug that's got his lemon honey tea in it. There's 3 other kids in the family, but he gets up an hour before they do because
So that's what, 6:30, something like that?
yes, he just needs this time with himself and his chapter book. And, before anybody else gets started on their day, before the chaos of the morning
Wow.
ensues.
That's
He
like
is-
my grandpa that would read the newspaper and drink a cup of coffee in the morning.
Yes, that is exactly. But he's an old soul, and I love this kid. 6 years old. So there's a video on Mom's like TikTok or whatever that's
Yeah.
going viral because this kid. So he's got that like this little bracelet. I love it. Like he looks like a 40-year-old man sitting there, and he's got his collars kind of popped. He's got his slacks on. Almost looks like a uniform for school, and he just sits there and reads his little chapter book.
I like that.
Has it? We all need that quiet time.
Well, plus he's reading.
He's reading.
Yeah, at 6 years old.
And he's got a coffee. If his mom and dad had newspapers in the house, I feel like he'd be reading the newspaper.
The Wall Street Journal.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Kelsey's big day was here. She had been working toward one goal for 5 years, and finally, she was going to get to walk across the stage at graduation and pick up her diploma from college. Super excited. So, she shows up. She's got the cap and gown. The family's there watching her. So she's sitting, getting ready to walk across, and she's like, oh, okay,
What,
I'm
nervous?
good. Well, tummy is starting to...
Oh, stomach ache?
So she's like, oh, Whew, okay. I'm gonna walk across like I'm doing. Whew, whew, and
You're-
it just starts. I'm recreating.
Evidently, you sound like you're in
Recreating.
pain.
Well, she was in labor.
Wait, what?
She was in labor. So this is her college graduation.
And the water breaks?
30. No, it didn't break. 38 weeks along, and she knew she was in
The
active
contractions are
labor.
happening?
Active
No way.
labor. She said, "I'm sorry. I'm walking." So the professors and the people that are probably the dean of the college are standing up there waiting to give everybody their diplomas, and they're like, "Guys, I'm sorry. We have to kind of interrupt this because we're going to move this along a little bit for her because they realized, I guess word got around, she's in labor."
So they got her up on stage immediately, huh?
She got up on stage immediately, got her diploma, big smile on her face. She's holding her tummy like this, but you can't see. She's just smiling. Like you can't tell she's in pain at all, but you can tell she's ready to go. So I think she walked off the stage into a car into the hospital,
Right?
and then gave birth. Yeah, to baby girl.
Oh, good for Kelsey.
I know, so sweet, and I'm glad that she was able to get her diploma on stage. It was a lot of work.
Not many people graduate and have a baby on the same day.
Not at all. She's one in a million.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
His radio.
This sounds spooky when you hear it, but when you hear how this is going to apply to help people, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. Because Apple is developing this new technology called personal voice. Literally learns your voice in 15 minutes and then can have a synthetic voice speak for you. And this is targeted toward people that are starting to lose the ability to communicate.
Oh,
Because of some
wow.
kind of disease or whatnot. And so with the cognitive disabilities and mobility and even vision and hearing, this is affecting some people. And so what Apple is doing is giving the ability for it to learn your voice, so it will do live speech and allow people who cannot speak to type during the calls and have conversations with your voice as you're typing.
That's actually a very cool aspect of this. That I like that. If you have an older parent that has lost the ability, like become nonverbal, if you see that coming, you can go ahead and have them record some things and then be able to communicate.
That's what Apple is doing with this
Yeah.
synthetic personal voice technology. So they want to help people so that when that does happen, like Liz is saying, they can still type. And while they're typing, it's their voice that's communicating with people.
So if they need to call 911 or they need to call their doctor and say this is happening or whatever the situation is and be able to explain what's going on.
The biggest thing that's going to help is communicating with your family.
I can see that
Yeah.
as well. So you can have a talk, a chat with a grandchild who maybe has never heard your voice before, and they get a semblance of that, I guess.
Yeah, with that synthetic voice. So
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
I am all about this. This sounds like so much fun. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio.
well, if you're going to be on summer vacation in New York City, get ready because they have a pop-up Barbie Cafe. We're talking the Barbie doll. A Barbie
Yes.
Cafe.
Yeah. I am so into this. When I was little, I had that Barbie dream house, had an elevator that had a string, and you pulled the string, and the elevator went up. And Barbie
I don't
was
know
in
if there's
it.
going to be a stringed elevator in this thing, but
I
it is
hope
2
not.
stories.
I hope it's not a stringed elevator, unless there's a bunch of people that are pulling on that string, making sure it goes to the top.
Lots of pink all over the place.
Yes. Well, it's Barbie.
Everywhere.
You have to have pink when there's
Little
Barbie.
cafe that they have.
This is going to be so much.
Sounds like Liz will go if she goes to New York City
Look,
over the summer.
If I can get a trip to New York City, I'm thinking a couple of girlfriends. We just head to New York City. That's like I love.
I know one person, and it's themed Malibu Barbie Cafe in New York City, which makes no sense to me.
It
It's
really does.
Malibu,
It
right?
should be like Florida.
But I can tell you one person I know that will not go anywhere near this store.
Who?
Scott's daughter.
Why?
She won't. She doesn't like dolls. I remember my wife was so excited when we knew we were having a little baby girl, right? My wife had all these dolls she had collected when she was younger, and she dolled up the room, right, with the dolls all around on the shelves. And one day my daughter was like 1 or 2, she was just learning to talk, and she said, "Mommy, they're looking at me."
Oh, no.
And she didn't like them. She's just never liked dolls.
Ever since, huh?
So she didn't play with baby dolls nor Barbie dolls.
No.
No dolls, period.
They're looking at her.
Well, I got to ask, what did she play with, Scott?
Well, other things. She's really into art, so she liked to
Okay.
draw and color and
I
things
just
like that.
wondered,
And she
yeah.
played with other, typical girl toys too, but just never into the dolls or the Barbie dolls.
Had the house, but no dolls.
Because the
Had the
house
car.
wasn't looking at her.